Namaskar, hello, and welcome everyone to yet another exciting episode of the Dee Show. Well, today I have a leader from the aerospace industry. Yes, something that excites us all. Well, I personally have been very curious to know what are we doing as a country and how are we making a difference with so many accomplishments that keep flying around the world. Yes, a lot is happening in the world, from some good things to very, very bad things. But in between all of this, we will try and make sure that we keep bringing lessons and learnings to all of you so that we stay inspired and we stay motivated. I'm Dr. D, and it is my privilege to be in season 3. Thank you for all the love. And in the second episode, I have with us somebody very dynamic, very elegant, and somebody who's making a huge impact in the aerospace industry. My dear friends, the opinions are completely personal. So please don't worry and do not take any offense because these are some things, the thoughts that we are sharing based on our own experiences. As leaders from two different industries, I'm trying to make these conversations from 35,000 feet to 2,000 feet. Make difficult conversations easy. And that is my motto, to make sure that I can bring learning outcomes across generations and across diversity. So, with the commitment of making our workspace more inclusive, let's get started. Allow me to welcome here my guest on the show, none other than Samriddhi Pandey. Well, it is my privilege to welcome Samriddhi here. Hi, how are you?
I'm good, Dr. D. How are you?
I'm doing fine. And Samriddhi, you and I, we connected in May last year. And how busy you've been that now we are connecting again. And I've been very excited to talk to you, especially because you represent, I would say a youth icon from the aerospace industry.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a
So,
busy year. Yeah.
yeah. So, Samriddhi, you're the founder and CEO for Defy Aerospace. I mean, for a woman to make a mark in aerospace industry and put our country at different places, and I've met you at conferences at the Source Systems, and I've heard you as a speaker. Wow. I mean, how did you get this idea? Let's start from there.
Um, it all started when I was in the UK,
Mm-hmm.
and I was studying. I was doing my master's in aerospace vehicle design with a specialization in aircraft design, and I designed a particular kind of aircraft over there itself. Um, But for the longest of time, I sat on it. I sat on the idea. I thought, whenever is the right time, I'll go and then I'll start my own company and everything. And then I started working. I was working on Rolls Royce aero engine projects in the UK as a compressor design engineer. And over there itself, there were a lot of personal struggles that came in my family, particularly related to access to medicine and blood, right? So my grandmother, she needed A negative blood in a very remote area, and this really got me thinking that okay, the technology that I've been sitting on for so long, I think we should take it back home and do something big, right? So that's when in about 2021 is when I decided, you know what, it's time. I think we should go back home and start this. So then here we are.
I know, and I personally know this that you've had a lot of challenges that you've faced in the growth of this company, which has been like your baby. But
Yeah.
you're committed and you are sticking to your endeavor. So
Yeah.
give me, or rather give our audience an idea of India's drone landscape. Where are we?
So even though we are in the nascent stages, we're still very aggressive. If you see, we are growing very, very aggressively in the agricultural sector.
Sure.
Our prime minister is really supporting the agricultural sector, utilization of drones. Skilling is a very, very big thing that we need right now. We really, really need to emphasize on skilling right now. So that's where all our energy is focused on. Along with that, we're also into survey and mapping and all these kinds of drones, right? We're still long way ahead from applications like logistics. We're all still waiting for the right authorities to come up with something called as drone highways or airways, right? So unless
Wow.
we have that, we cannot have drones flying over here and delivering our sabzi and atta and pizzas and things like that, right? We would
So we're
all,
going to have like highways and expressways up there, is it?
yeah. So just like your planes have routes, right? So exactly like
Right.
that, we're waiting for those routes to be set up, and obviously then we'll have drone stations. So it's a little bit ahead, but that doesn't mean that there's nobody working on it, right? We're also working
Right.
on it. There are so many competitors who are working on it. So these are the two three areas which are the prime emphasis of this country right now, which is awesome.
Wow. I mean, that's why I mean, for lack of a better word, they call it the drone industry as well.
Yeah, it's a growing
And,
industry. Yeah.
and so when it comes to drones, do we have specific sizes which are allowed in our country? Because I've seen a lot of my friends on vacation just flying those mini drones over ocean. I mean, is that really legally allowed?
Yeah, so the whole country, like in India, it's divided into three zones. You have
Hmm.
red, yellow, and green zones, and there are certain
Right.
parameters that determine whether you can fly over there or not. Like in green zones, there are hardly any restrictions. There are certain height restrictions to which you can go to. In yellow zones, you require some permissions, and red zones, you require multiple, like Air Force permissions and Defense Forces permissions, right, to fly. Um, Now, when you look at drones, there are multiple categories. Okay, so there's a
Hmm.
micro category which goes up to about 2 kgs. There's a small category that goes from 2 kgs to 25 kgs and so on and so forth, right? Then we have medium, large, and we get into defense categories. So once you cross, if you have a drone, which is, I'm sorry, micro, I think is 250 grams. I need to get my facts checked. So once you cross that micro category, you need to have a
Right.
license to fly, right? As a
Okay.
like commercially or however. So now there are a lot of schools, including us. We also have a DDC approved school where you can go and
Right.
learn how to fly a drone in the small category. And we're also introducing multiple, application based training where you can go and learn survey mapping and agriculture, spraying and things like that, right? So wherever it's
Wow.
good, go and do it. And we basically want to create good entrepreneurs in themselves from rural areas who can utilize this opportunity, this big bubble. I won't call it a bubble because it's fairly large, this
Right.
growing industry that drones are.
I was about to ask you that because I remember you mentioned the skills gap, right?
Yeah,
And if we are going to be encouraging the rural areas to participate and probably get a source of livelihood as well as contribute to the aerospace drone industry,
yeah.
how are we doing that? I mean, are there enough institutions who are training people, making them aware?
Yeah, the DGCA has been very aggressive, and people have been so aggressive. There are about 80 odd schools, DGCA
Uh,
approved schools, that are training thousands of people right now. And
okay.
PM Modi also announced that they want to, have thousands of women and farmers become drone pilots so that they can get these drones back to their villages and start spraying utilizing drones. I think drones are going to be like the next, we had a tractor revolution when we had
Yes.
tractors entering into the farming industry. It's now drones that are entering into it right now. So there are excessive, like there are schools coming up every day. So you have an
Right.
opportunity to really go and get trained anywhere, and you must get skilled in this kind of trade, because we all
Wow.
need it.
We all need it. I know. I'm just getting so excited to learn something new, right? And that too, like a video game. You're like controlling the
Yeah,
levers
yeah,
of a drone remote.
yeah. It's the best once you hold it in your hand. It's You can't get rid of it. It's
You can't get rid of it. Let's talk about the security risk. I mean, in India, simultaneously now cyber security is coming to the fore.
yeah.
How does it complicate your growth and your, innovation?
Um, Innovation, it doesn't actually complicate because we see every challenge as an opportunity to become an edge above the rest, right? If this is a problem, if our forces are facing a problem when it comes to security, like if the police
Mhm.
forces are facing a problem. So we've had multiple conversations with several police forces across the country where, I'll give you a use case, for example, where they want to basically track movement of people when there are VIP visits, right? So
Wow.
they,
Okay.
what is there any suspicious activity that's going on in a crowd of thousands and lakhs of people, right? So these are the areas which we use it as an opportunity for us,
Right.
and adds on to our innovation factor, if you know what I mean. So it's not really a challenge. Um, as much as it's a risk, there are also
Mhm.
fantastic individuals that are coming up to mitigate, that are coming up with ideas to mitigate this risk, right? So there are jammers that are coming up. There are several ideas that are coming up to catch these drones in air. So the risk is very imminent, but at the same time, I think the people who are currently working on these technologies are very responsible as well, and we need to be,
Right.
right?
Right.
Our authorities are also pretty stringent, like the DGCA. I think the entire industry is aware of how stringent DGCA is. So, fortunately, because of that reason, the risk is a little bit less at this point. But yes, it's on the horizon. So we need to work on technologies that can mitigate this risk as well.
So, so imagine I'm like a class two student. Paint me a vision of a drone India that you foresee, like an ideal vision. How does Samriddhi want to see this industry blooming?
Okay, number one, I want to be traveling in drones. I want
Okay.
passenger drones.
Wow.
Number two, I want my, if I want my mithai from Balaram Malik in Calcutta, I want it on the same day. And I think, drones can really help in that supply chain. So I really want those drones flying in the air so that it's faster than Zepto, or maybe
Right.
that's just me being a person from a metro city wanting everything quickly. But that's the that's the world, that's the India that I look at.
Right.
And yeah, indigenous drones for our defense forces. That's something that
Right.
really, really want us to build. And I really hope that there is more investment in building indigenous drones for our defense forces, where we are not. I really want to remove all reliance on other countries for drones, especially. It's been long that we've been dependent on other countries for aircrafts, but I think it's a good time that we don't depend on other countries for drones.
Absolutely, and that's quite a solid vision. I must compliment you. देसियों को तो मजा ही आ जाएगा खाने पीने की आजादी मिल जाएगी तो all the foodies. And I think in real time scenario we might be able to reach the right medicine to an accident site as well. So I think that will be such a game changer. We might be able to save so many lives.
Yes, yes. So it's a very sensitive topic for me.
Sensitive
So
topic, I know.
yeah, yeah. So which is why. So basically, I've lost people in my family due to heart attacks, and it was because there was no access to defibrillators, right?
Right.
And it was hardly 20 minutes away by car, right?
Wow.
Uh, so having our tagline as Drones for Humanity, I made it my personal mission where no one in this country should die with a heart attack because there was no defibrillator around, right? Or they should die with the lack of access to blood of any kind, right?
Right.
So, or there should be mothers that are dying while delivery because they didn't have access to clean birthing kits, right? So these
Right.
are very, very important areas that we are currently targeting, and obviously, with if we have national healthcare policies and things like that, drones would be imperative in that situation,
Of course. And
particularly between urban and rural. Yeah.
let's hope that everybody can think like us and do something about it.
There
Since we
are, there are.
are, since we are on a sensitive topic, Sam, I want to talk about, if I may, you lost a parent during this entire time when you
Yeah.
were growing your team. What kind of a challenge did you face with that, with respect to your company?
Um, so I lost my father, and it was 6 months into when I started my company. And we were at that time, we were at the peak of designing a product that we now have a patent on. And it was very sudden. He died due to a heart attack, and he had three heart
Right.
attacks back to back, right?
I
So
know.
we really don't know what happened because there was a very huge hospital very nearby. But obviously, when it happened, it really takes a lot of toll on you, you know, and it was really funny. And while we were, he was there in front of us. It was such a funny situation where I got an email on the same day saying that we were selected as the top 50 tech startups by Your Story in Tech Sparks.
Wow.
And then to
What?
go through the entire trauma
Yeah.
and then to still keep working, and in 2 days I had to do a pitch to multiple investors, multiple VCs. So I had to be in that state, hold myself together, and then
Right.
start. So it really plays with your mental health a lot. But at the same time, when you do what you love, it sort of also saves you. So my work almost also saved me from getting into a rut. My team, had incredible people working for me. So fortunately, even if I didn't work for like 10 days, my team kept the fort running and it was
Going.
going. So I was really very grateful for my team at that time. And um, but yeah, at the same time, you meet people like the way they are, right? You still meet people who are not so sensitive, uh, who think that money is everything. And what is mental health? Mental health is a fake thing. You don't struggle, we've all went through this, so you move ahead. And I think those are not the kind of things that
We want to be
should
surrounded with. Yeah. Yeah. No,
happen.
I agree. And
I think founders.
how are you now? Like, how much time did you take to kind of really be normal and back to square one?
See, after that, nobody gets normal.
Yeah.
There's always a part of you that dies once you lose one of your
Yeah.
pillars in
One
life.
of your pillars.
But
Right.
then you are born with this new version of you which feels invincible. You are now a person who's like, okay, throw whatever my way, man. Okay, whatever happens, it's fine. If I can get through that, I can get through anything in life. So that's how it feels like. So I think I'm really grateful for this version of me, and
Right.
how much, what can I say, resilience I have built over the years. And
Right.
now I think I can face a lot of things.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure uncle is like blessings and sending you blessings from wherever he
Oh,
is and
oh, for sure. The kind of
supporting
opportunities
you.
yeah, I know.
They've
Oh,
opened up.
that.
Yeah.
It's really funny the way
Talking
it works out.
talking about opportunities, and you mentioned about money. I mean, you are in a capital intensive industry. Like, you need a lot of capital. And I remember we had a brief conversation about this the last time we met at the
Yeah.
event. Um, Tell me, how do you deal with the gender bias? Because when you go to pitch to investors, it is a male dominated fraternity, aerospace industry. And then,
Yeah.
so how do you deal with that? What kind of difficulties in conversations do you face?
See, 90% of investors are really nice. Some of those people, even though they have not invested in our company, they have turned out to be the best mentors and like really angels for our company. However, there are very real problems to a woman entrepreneur still, which is
Okay.
it's a shame. Like that shouldn't be the case in 2023. Like I've been told all sorts of things, like you should have one male co-founder, or I still get asked questions like, what are your plans? Are you in a stable relationships? And more than one investor has asked me this. Are you getting married? When are your plans for a child? What are you going to do then?
Oh my
Uh,
God.
you are still building the company. You are not yet established. You are not in Series C. So if you have a child now, it's going to be a serious problem to earn money. I said, okay.
It's almost like your uterus and your brain are connected, right? And they're like, you can function with only one as a
Yeah.
woman.
So yeah, so these are the kind of comments I've faced,
Okay.
but it's okay. It sounds really funny to me at times. So I'm just like, okay, man. I think, and especially because I when I was in the UK, I looked at several kind of technologies getting funded left, right, and center, right? And even the hardware products that had usually a very long gestation period, people
Right.
trusted the innovative factor in that, and they actually
Mhm.
invested in that. And I took that mindset and I came to India, and I thought, okay,
Right.
here also what people think. I think this is what people think over here, but here we are. Investors usually are more service oriented, and they're like, okay, how quickly can we turn this around? Which is obviously we do want to give our investors 10x and 20x and 100x sort of returns, but
Right.
then again, there is some sort of a gestation period that comes with it, right? So. It took me some time to understand that the situation of investors over here is very different.
Than the
And
UK.
yeah. So along with getting all these kind of comments, I have to understand what the mindset of the investor is like. Yeah,
Exactly.
now it's getting better.
So paint me a picture. Like if you get a very abrupt remark, such as few examples that you shared, how do you
Yeah,
tackle it? What kind of a reply do you get?
I have to take a deep breath.
Okay.
I take 3 seconds and I take a deep breath. It's not about me. It's not about me. I remind myself. And then, yeah, I do have to answer these questions because in the end, I have people in my company. I do need to get money. I have to grow my company. And perhaps once I'm $100 million company, these people will have their money and they'll be out of the company, I don't know, ages ago. So I don't really care about what these people say, but at the
Right.
same time, I do get back and I do ask them that would you ask the same thing to a guy? If I had a male co-founder, would you ask the same thing to them?
And what
And
do
I
they
give
say?
them a good amount of time to explain themselves because they usually over explain themselves, and I let them like हाँ करो थोड़ा explain करो deserve करती हूँ मैं so and
कि
then I
क्यों बोला?
so they get on a spot. They're like, oh, अच्छा इसने तो मेरे को spot पे ला दिया. थोड़ा उस spot पे, and then I just answer simply 1 or 2 line answer. It's fine.
It's fine. Okay. So investment की हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं. What about the R&D investment? I mean, personally, how much do you put back into the R&D for your company?
So for the longest of times, I had put in my own money,
Right.
and after that, there were a lot of schemes from the government because obviously, like I said, the investors over here are not really interested in getting onto that point where you don't have a product ready,
Right.
and they don't understand the potential of an innovation, so they don't get on board at that point. I think that is why the government has come up with a lot of schemes regarding innovation and R&D. So we got a couple of grants. We got a grant from a bank. There are beautiful loans for women entrepreneurs in India, which you can get from
Mm-hmm.
national
Mm-hmm.
banks.
Mm-hmm.
So we made use of that. And yeah, until now, that's the only thing that has gone in R&D. And
Right.
the one thing that has happened is now we have a patent product, and we have two products that are flying, and we're actually delivering medicines and blood, plasma, and we're training people now. We're
And
looking
and
at women.
and where are these routes? I mean, am I living anywhere closer to these routes? I also want the deliveries.
Right now, no. Right now, people in
No,
need are getting their medicines.
they're getting
We'll have to
it.
settle with we'll have to settle with Tata One MG and like all these Zepto and Dunzo and everything
For now.
for
So
now.
how far are we? I mean, when can I hear Defy Aerospace making things happen, dreams come true?
Very soon.
Soon, okay. Well, this is a huge feat that you have a patent already, and I can only imagine how the next year will open up with so many people lining up to invest in your company. What are
Yes.
those those two things that you're going to keep in mind as you grow in your organization? Because a lot of leaders and entrepreneurs, they lose sight the moment they get funded and they grow. So what are those two things that you're going to keep in mind?
One is my people and how
Right.
happy they are, because I know that I alone am not capable of building what I want to build and where I want to see this company, you know, what I want to see this company doing. So I really want to focus on building a company that really takes care of its people, and I don't want to lose sight of that ever. And second, um, I don't ever want to deviate from the fact that I am building a revolutionary aerospace company. Okay.
Right.
So we don't want to limit ourselves to one thing, but at the same time, the innovations that are already in my head and already in at least 10 diaries that I have, they should take shape, right? So the innovative factor should remain, because I know that, and it really saddens my heart that there are so many good companies that are, they have been bought out by big giants, and then the innovation factor has really reduced. And
Reduced.
that's not something that I'm looking at for my company. I don't want to stop innovating.
And you'll always be there with your company. You're not going to just sell it off because eventually some big conglomerate will approach you. No, it's your baby.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They do, but yeah, I am not looking to sell it, because um the dreams and the vision that I have for this company is not something that somebody can digest right now. So I'll go step by step. I'll keep proving the credibility until I reach my dream, and then I go further. You know, and that's something that I'm
Amazing.
cultivating in my team as well. So that's how I want my team also to be.
Amazing. I'm inspired. I'm motivated. And I'm going to wish that you achieve all your dreams.
Thank
And
you.
I would be one of the genuine supporters as an industry leader, applauding for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's so lovely.
Tell me about the incubators. I mean, there's so many incubators, and honestly, it's an overabused word. But how many of them are actually delivering in your industry? I did a little research, and I was astonished to see the number of incubators that you had. And I'm like, okay, where is the
Yeah.
gap then? Sam is going to tell me where is what is happening really. What are they incubating?
They're incubating something, and
Okay,
something comes out of it. Um, but very few of them are incubating something of quality and something which is promising. Um, I think incubators have so much power to do so much for companies, right? And for companies that are actually very promising, and not just companies that are there. Um, I don't know. I've seen very weird kind of ideas, and those companies were funded.
hmm.
And then I did not understand that, okay, what exactly is happening over here? And there were a lot of background activity that was going on, which I think I was too naive to understand at that point. And but there are multiple like genuine incubators as well, which I've had the opportunity. Like, I'm really grateful to have met very like incredible people. Like, there's one called GSS Step, which we've met, and the CEO of that incubator is Divya Rajput. So she's been so supportive, and I don't know whether it's a woman factor again or what is it, but then she's just the sweetest lady that there is, and I've loved
Aren't, aren't
talking to
all
her.
Divya's sweet? Let me just take the credit.
Yeah, so yeah, that was the situation, and we've also been bullied by a couple of incubators, so that was really bad, because I'm a very straightforward person, and I don't know how to do okay sir, yes sir, okay ma'am, yes ma'am type of thing. So I don't
Right.
do all of that. So yeah, so there's been a little bullying, and then I was like, okay, bye. I don't deal with bullying, so okay,
Deal
bye.
with bullies. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's been the situation. But then, um, There are multiple incubators, like there's IIT Bombay, or these IITs are, and IISC is really incubating phenomenal stuff, right? Even in terms of drones and space, AI, these things are really being very nicely incubated in IITs or IISCs, right? But then
Right.
again, you need to choose the right place where you're going. Not all of them
I
are good.
agree.
You need to really gauge before you go to these places.
So, Sam, we're coming towards the end of our conversation. It's been such a delight to hear from you and inspiring. Tell me, what is it that you would like to share with women entrepreneurs who would be watching this chat?
Even if you feel down one day, take another day and don't beat yourself up for it. Take
Right,
a day, lie down in bed, and come back the next day. Don't leave
right,
it. Most of us are almost there, and then we're so primed to think that we're not enough, and maybe we're not capable, or maybe I need my husband or my brother or my father or my this or my that to just achieve something. um, I think if you had the capability to think of something, I think you have the capability to achieve it too. So if one day you think you can't do it, it's okay. Think that, take one more day in bed, come back, and you will be able to do it. But rest. And resting is important. I think as a woman, we always forget that men and women function differently, and our
right,
bodies, physical bodies as well as mental bodies, function very differently. So the way we react to stresses versus the way that men react to stresses are very different. So we need to first understand that your body is going to react very differently to a stress, and also with how you've grown up. So take account of that and chill
right.
out and rest and then work, because we work multiple folds than what many men can do. But I
Amazing.
did.
I love it. What a realistic and what a practical advice. And I think it's going to benefit so many women entrepreneurs who are watching us.
Yeah.
Sam, it's been a pleasure talking to you as always. And
Thank you so
thank
much.
you. Thank you for
Thank
making the time at a short notice to be with me here. And let's keep making impact. Let's keep inspiring people and do what you're doing, and all your dreams will come true.
Thank you so much. Thank you for calling me to your show. And I love talking to you always. I love hearing your voice. You have such a melodious voice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, Sam.
Take care.
Have a
Bye
great
bye.
weekend.
All the
Yes.
best.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Well, friends, an amazing conversation with a very, very dynamic young woman in the aerospace industry. There's so much to learn. And don't forget the learning outcomes and advice that she shared with all of us. Each of these insights is going to make us a better version of who we are. And let's keep evolving, let's keep growing, let's keep spreading this influence and impact to be a better version. Well, this is Dr. D signing off for now with a promise that I'm going to bring again another leader from another industry, and let's see how we can learn from his or her challenges and take away some outcomes that we can imbibe in our lives. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. We are also on podcasts on various three channels. So please, please, please follow, subscribe, comment, and share, and keep spreading the cheer. Cheers.